Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy. Today is November 6th of 2023, and we're celebrating Monday of the 31st week in Ordinary Time. Today's Gospel comes to us from the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 14, verses 12 through 14. On a Sabbath, Jesus went to dine at the home of one of the leading Pharisees. He said to the host who invited him, "When you hold a lunch or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or sisters, or your relatives, or your wealthy neighbors, in case they may invite you back, and you have repayment. Rather, when you hold a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. Blessed indeed will you be because of their inability to repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous." In today's first reading, taken from St. Paul's letter to the Romans, the apostle to the Gentiles expresses the mystery of God's providence and mercy in 5 very dense verses. He begins by saying, "For God delivered all to disobedience, that he might have mercy upon all." The Greek word that Paul uses for delivered is syneklesin, meaning permitted or allowed. God allowed sinners, he permitted sinners to fall into disobedience, not to condemn them, but rather to save them. God doesn't like sin, but he can use even sin to bring about his ends, to get good things out of something evil. God's designs are never frustrated, not even by human failings. Indeed, as Thomas Aquinas says, God's omnipotence, his all-powerfulness, is shown most clearly in his forgiveness of sins. Paul then praises this mystery of providence as he proclaims, "Oh, the depth of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God! How inscrutable are his judgments, and how unsearchable his ways! For who has known the mind of the Lord? Or who has been his counselor? Or who has given him anything that he may be repaid? For from him, and through him, and for him are all things. To him be glory forever. Amen." In this life, we'll never completely understand how God's providence works. We just can't know how he's arranging all things for our good, or how in the midst of bleak, even very depressing situations, God is planning to get great blessings from what's bad. However, by faith, we know with absolute certainty that this is the case. And so, if we're really convinced of this truth, our lives should become a constant hymn of praise for God's love and mercy. Now, we're all familiar with the story of Jacob's ladder, right? Jacob decides to sleep for the night in the middle of nowhere. And while he's there, he has a dream of angels and an assurance of God's protection. But when he wakes up, he says something that's really beautiful and profound. Jacob says, "Truly, the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. How awesome this place is! This is nothing else but the house of God, the gateway to heaven." That's Genesis 28, 16, 17. "Truly the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. How awesome this place is! This is nothing else but the house of God and the gateway to heaven." Now, when we become convinced that God's providence and mercy touches on absolutely every aspect of our lives, even the smallest details, then we start to see that God is in every place. He's hidden behind the veil of daily events and common occurrences. As Catholics, especially those who are religious, we need to reflect that wonder expressed by Paul and Jacob. To be convinced that no matter where we are or what we're doing, no matter how boring or exciting it might be, at every moment in every place, we're in the house of God. At every place, we can find that gateway to heaven. We can ask ourselves, how well do we try to see the hand of providence at work in our lives? Do we try to see it even in the most boring or difficult moments, just as Jacob saw it in the desert in Iraq? So today, through the intercession of Mary, Mother of Divine Providence, let's ask for the grace to trust in God's providence and in his mercy, which constantly arranges everything for our good.